So, what happens when the whole world really just runs out of young people? It's a huge question, and it sounds like something out of a sci fi movie, but as we're about to see, it is very quickly becoming a reality. Okay, so to get our heads around this, I want you to picture something. We're in this quiet, kind of remote village in Japan. Imagine a place where you just don't hear kids playing anymore. The local school, which should be the heart of the community, well, it closed its doors for good years ago. There were simply no students left to teach. So, with no young people moving in or being born, when the older residents pass on, they're being replaced by dolls. Yeah, you heard that right. Life-size dolls propped up around the village, almost to fight back against the silence and the emptiness. It's this strange and honestly kind of sad tribute to a community that's just fading away. So you have to ask, right? What is going on here? Is this just some weird, sad, isolated story? Or is it a warning? A sign of something much, much bigger happening all around us? Yeah, you see, that doll village, it's not just some strange headline. It's actually a symptom, a really visual, kind of haunting symptom of a massive problem that's happening just beneath the surface. So let's zoom out, because this isn't just a local story anymore. It's a global trend. What's happening in that one little village? Well, it's starting to happen to entire countries. All right, to really get what's going on, there's this one key idea we need to talk about. It's called the replacement rate. It's basically the magic number for a stable population. You need 2.1 children per woman on average, just to keep the population from shrinking. Not to grow it, just to stay level. That extra point 1 is to account for people who don't reach adulthood. And, well, just take a look at this. You can see it right here. That 2.1 line is what you need to stay stable. But countries like Japan, South Korea, a lot of the West, they're not even close. They are way, way below it. This isn't just a little dip, it's the new reality for a huge part of the developed world. Okay, so that's the what. But the big question is why, right? I mean, what is causing this huge historic shift? Well, the source material points to one really powerful driver: good old-fashioned economic pressure. Think about it like this. For our parents' or grandparents' generation, the path to adulthood was kind of straightforward, right? You get a stable job, you can afford a home, you can raise a family. But today, the 21st century reality for a lot of young people is, well, it's economic instability. The cost of living is through the roof. So that old path, it feels impossible. And so they're making a totally rational choice. They're choosing things they can't afford, like pets and plants. And that brings us to this quote from the source material, which just, wow, it hits hard. A world where pets and plants replace children. It perfectly sums up the very real, very tough economic calculation that millions of people are making every single day. Okay, so what? Fewer people? What's the big deal? You might even think it sounds good for the planet, but this shift is about to send a massive shockwave through the economy. Let's really dig into what happens when a country starts running out of young people. So the very first thing that happens is what's called a labor shortage. And it's exactly what it sounds like. There just aren't enough people of working age to fill all the jobs that need to be done. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory for economists to debate. This hits us in the real world. It means fewer builders for new homes, fewer truck drivers for our deliveries, fewer nurses in our hospitals. It means public services like sanitation or transit get strained. Businesses can't find staff to grow or even just to stay open. And the engine of innovation, it starts to sputter. But a worker shortage is only half the problem. The other side of the coin is something you might not expect: rising inflation. Now, you'd think, hey, fewer people means less demand, so prices should go down, right? Well, not exactly. Let me break down how this works, because it's kind of counterintuitive. Step 1, you've got fewer workers, right? So businesses have to compete for them. That means wages go up. Simple supply and demand. Step 2, to pay for those higher wages, companies have to raise the prices of their products and services. And step 3, well, that's where we all feel it. The cost of just about everything goes up for everyone. So yeah, fewer people can actually make life more expensive. So when you stitch all of this together, the falling birth rates, the crazy economic pressures, the worker shortages, the inflation, you end up in a totally new economic reality. It's what's known as life on the cliff. And that's our key term for today, the demographic cliff. It's not just about a low birth rate. It's that specific point where the birth rate has fallen so far that it creates this shrinking workforce, which then kicks off this whole cascade of serious economic problems, from labor shortages to inflation. It's when the problem becomes a crisis. And this right here is the fundamental problem. Our entire modern economic system, think about pensions, Social Security, the stock market, all of it. It was all built on one unspoken, fundamental assumption, that there will always be more people, more young workers tomorrow than there are today. And that leaves us with this one massive question hanging in the air. What happens to our economy, to our society, to our entire vision of the future when that core assumption is no longer true? What happens when the pyramid starts to flip upside down?